I have had a best friend ever since I was 5 years old, and she continued to invite me to church over and over. And I was unmarried and pregnant at the time, and I didn't want anything to do with church or the God that I remembered being raised under. And she never relented. And so I gave in, and I attended a church service, and the pastor began to speak about Jesus, who was loving and who was kind and merciful and forgiving, and who wanted a relationship with me. And I had not heard that before, and something began to happen in my heart. I've belonged to Christ and have not left church since then. When I was younger, I always had a heart for the poor and for the downtrodden, or anyone that really felt invisible or overlooked. It's just something that the Lord had placed in my heart, was this thread of compassion. In 2009, I believe the Lord gave me a vision for Love Lunch Sack Ministry. I remember Him specifically saying, "Show my love." And what He showed me was a mental picture of a brown paper sack lunch, and it had a red heart on the front of it. And so when the Lord said, "Show my love," I knew that He didn't want me to go to the streets and preach or condemn or judge, but just to be loving, because we're all in need of that. We got together in my home with some friends and put together 50 lunches, and we went out to the street. And I prayed and asked the Lord to lead me in the direction that He wanted me to go, and drove around, and I had cars following me. We didn't know what to do or how to do it. We were just following the Lord. I remember looking off to my left and seeing a pair of legs in a dumpster. And I got out of my car with a brown sack lunch with a red heart on it and said, "Excuse me, how are you?" And a man pulled his body out of the dumpster and began to wipe himself off. And I said, "Can I bless you today with the lunch?" And I extended my hand to shake his hand. And he said, "Ma'am, you don't want to touch me." He said, "I'm dirty." And I said, "I'm dirty too." And I put my arms around him and I hugged him. That was the first person that I encountered on the street, and I knew that the Lord had done something for sure in my heart and in my life at that moment, and that He was faithful to lead me right where He wanted me. And after I had encountered a couple of people who were experiencing homelessness, I was just broken, quite honestly. I was very broken. Even to this day, I can remember those emotions and meeting those people and how desperate they are for love. We would do this every Sunday for over 2 years, and that number increased from 50 lunches to 300 lunches a Sunday. And then they began to know us by our logo, which was this brown paper bag with a red heart, and we built trustworthy relationships. And so the ministry has expanded quite a bit from just a sack lunch to transitioning people, helping people connect with employers to get work. We are helping them get identification and insurance, and to just stabilize them and transition them from the street to everyday living. We have also developed a street church where we're not only feeding them physically, but spiritually the Word of God. I've always just had a heart for those that need love and that need the truth, and I just know what it's like to not have the truth and want love. And so it is my heart's mission, and I believe the goal for God on my life is to extend that to people who may not have it.